Welcome back to the channel, it's Adam here. July has come and gone in the blink of an eye, so it's time for another update on my Oscar predictions for the 2027 lineup in Best Picture. You may be thinking it's a little early for this, but I think it's really fun to start kind of keeping an eye on the season and the development in the summer and watch how it changes and evolves as the season goes on. It's really fun for me, and I wanted to be more consistent about documenting it here. Please keep in mind, a lot of these movies are not out to a wide audience yet. Some of them haven't even premiered at film festivals. We're really just going off of vibes. We're also keeping in mind studio distribution, their release dates, if they are doing a festival rollout or not, etc. This is all being taken into consideration with the predictions. I'm not just going willy-nilly, and these aren't necessarily my preferred picks for the lineup, but let's just get into it. I'm going to be going in the order of most likely to be nominated at this point in time to least likely, along with some other movies on the periphery that we should keep an eye on. The biggest change, I think, from my initial Best Picture prediction video that I did in June is that I have a new number one, and I have La Bola Negra actually at number one. I said last time this did really well at Cannes. It's already got some other festivals lined up. I think Netflix has committed to a full month-long theatrical for it. I think this is going to be a big player. I think this is Netflix's strongest player for like award season, so I think they're going to put a lot of weight behind it. At number two, I have The Odyssey. I think especially after its performance with critics and with general audiences, I would be shocked if this does not show up in the lineup. It is another heater from Christopher Nolan. I think it's going to have a big tech package. I think there are definitely some acting nominations in play. I think it'll show up here. Number three, I have Project Hail Mary. I dropped this a little, but never fear, I do feel very confident about it getting in the Best Picture lineup. Similar to The Odyssey, it's going to have a big tech package, right? Like they're really going to go for a lot of those, and I do think Ryan Gosling is a pretty strong contender in the acting categories. It was commercially well received. It made a lot of money. Audiences love it. It's very heartwarming. The Odyssey is kind of a bleaker movie. Project Hail Mary is very much a crowd pleaser, so I think that is also going to help it. Not to say that The Odyssey is going to be hurt by its bleak outlook. They love Christopher Nolan. They loved Oppenheimer, for example. Just another different kind of tone that like really works well with these kinds of things. At number four, I still have Fjord. I haven't made any changes there. And at number five, I have Dune Part 3. I have Dune Part 3 a little lower just because it is the third installment in a franchise. The first two were nominated. I think this one will still do well, but you know, you never know. Six, I actually have Digger. I've dropped this quite a bit from my initial predictions video. I think it's still gonna do very well. I think Inarritu has a good track record with the Oscars, don't get me wrong, and I do think Mr. Tom Cruise is kind of the front runner for actor. I think he is going to be a big force in the race this year. But when that trailer came out, I found it to be very divisive, and of course, like, the Academy is not Twitter, the film industry at large is not Twitter, but I do think this is going to be a divisive one. So I am wondering how people in the industry are going to respond to it. If it is a bit more divisive, you know, I don't feel as strong about like something like Project Hail Mary. Like I said earlier, that's a crowd pleaser, you know. Digger being like maybe this divisive, tonally tricky thing could be a hindrance to some voters. I don't know. Another big change I made is I put Behemoth up to 7. When I made my first predictions video, we didn't have like any information, just like the cast list and the crew. We really didn't have any information. And since then, we've gotten stills, we've gotten a nice interview with Pedro Pascal, and we've gotten a trailer. And I've got to say, the trailer looks amazing. The performances look amazing. I think this is going to be a big player for Searchlight. I think they are going to put a lot behind this one. Tony Gilroy coming off of Andor, big success there. This could be his big return to the Oscars after Michael Clayton. I think Pedro Pascal is a really well-liked performer in this industry, and this is kind of a departure from these big franchise roles that have been taking up a lot of his time too. I think it has like a lot of narratives going for it, a lot of momentum. Speaking of Searchlight, I have Wild Horse 9. I do think Behemoth might be a bit more of a priority. However, as of the morning I'm filming this, Wild Horse 9 was announced for Venice, so it is telling me they do believe in it. They are going to give it a festival run. Like I said in previous videos, you know, the Academy loves Martin McDonagh. They love a Martin McDonagh movie. I would not be surprised, but I don't know. This feeling in particular is just a feeling. It's not rooted in any stats, but I feel like maybe Behemoth might be their priority, but I don't know. We'll see. Number 9, I've dropped The Debut here. I think think it is going to do a festival run. I think that's really good for it, but I do feel like maybe it'll be more of like an acting player and like some writing than like a major Best Picture frontrunner. I think a lot of these other films are dipping into a lot of other categories. I don't know that the debut will have like as quite large a package. And I could also see maybe A24 having another priority, which is my number 10. I have The Invite. I loved The Invite when I saw it. It was getting great reception. I think as it's expanded, that reception has only continued to bolster it. I think if A24 can lock in now and like really invest and push it, I think it could make it in here. I see definitely like a screenplay nom in its future. I think it could make an acting player too. I even think maybe if they play their cards right, it could be a director player. We don't know. But I do think The Invite definitely has what it takes to make it in this lineup, and I think if the early buzz is sustained. Just outside, I have All of a Sudden. I did have this in my 10. I dropped it out for now. I do still think there's a possibility here. I'm tempted maybe to take the debut out and put this in here. However, we've never had more than 2 international features in a Best Picture lineup. We thought maybe it could happen last year, and then it still didn't. So I do think I want to keep my eye on Fjord and La Bola Negra. I think those are the 2 big international players right now. I've heard Fjord is very like divisive in its subject matter. Maybe some voters will find that as a barrier, so I could see maybe All of a Sudden like surging then. But also just keeping that stat in mind, I did feel like I should maybe take an international player out. I had 3. I lowered it to 2. I would love for there to be 3. I would love for there to be more always, but that's just kind of the Academy we're operating with right now. Does have the benefit of Neon also behind it. It is, I think, going to be a big festival player as well. We'll see what happens. I think this time last year, The Secret Agent was not on anyone's Best Picture radar. A lot of people had it was just an accident, and those both kind of shifted. So we'll see. A lot is going to change. 12, I have Obsession. I do think there's a lot of industry people buzzing about that movie. It made a ton of money. It continues to make a ton of money. I am just not as bold a predictor as some people. I want to see like how it does at like say the Gotham Awards. I want to see how it does at like an early precursor, just so I know this is like serious, you know? 13, I have Sense and Sensibility. 14, I have Werewolf. I think, you know, we've got Focus Features. They know how to run a movie. Just kind of depends on how they do. I would love for Werewolf to be kind of the horror darling of this year, actually. It looks amazing. I think it'll pick up some costume and cinematography and tech stuff as well, but we'll see. Also on the radar, The Social Reckoning. Who knows? Who's to say? I think it looks really rough, but, you know, they love giving Aaron Sorkin movies award nominations, so we'll see. I also have Artificial, but there was a recent statement that came out because it's skipping Venice, it's skipping all the festivals, and I think it's gonna do like a qualifying December release. I don't really know what they're gonna do with this, so I'll be interested to see. And I think those are like the major players on my radar right now, as of right now. I also have Fatherland, I have Wildwood. I think that would be very cool. I have Michael on my radar. There's always a possibility that could happen, but I don't think it did. I know it made a ton of money, but the negative reviews and the April release date are giving me pause. I also have Disclosure Day. I don't know really about that, but a possibility. That's where I'm at right now. Make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do with a YouTube channel: like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me everywhere, because I'm going to be doing this all season long. I have an acting predictions video coming out, an updated one, and you won't want to miss that. But until the next one, bye!